Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Reverend Ira Ackery and my good friend, my co-host, Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston, and we're here for the second show of our season, and we got some really good stuff to talk about today. Welcome to All Hands on Deck. Reverend Livingston, how you feel today?
Doing great, Doc, and it's great to be here. Got a great show. I think the people are going to be informed and inspired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today, what we're going to do, it's a lot going on. Our very special guest is this young, great activist who's making strides in our city, 22-year-old my good friend Jamal D. Green. He's in the room, he's in the studio, he's running for mayor. We're going to hear from him. He's going to make his case. He's going to let us know if he still feel that Rahm has failed us.
Yeah. And I believe he's the youngest candidate in Chicago history, am I right?
Yes.
That's all right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking to him. We're going to hear his commentary. We're also going to make a tribute to this soulful hip-hop or house music star, Cherie Hicks.
Beautiful and talented.
And sharp. She's a smart young woman. We're going to be talking about her, and then we're going to talk about some other things that's going on the west side of the city this week. Jamal Green, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, this is great.
Listen, man. You are rocking the city. You are an activist. You are a songwriter. Your activism, your profile, it grew immensely. It skyrocketed after the revelation of the Laquan McDonald cover-up between Rahm Emanuel, Anita Alvarez, and Superintendent McCarthy. You just took off. I remember a couple of days after that revelation, you and I were doing MSNBC together, and you were far much more articulate and far much more eloquent than anybody on the panel. And I said, this is unbelievable. You caught my attention that night. Yeah. How's things been going? How's your life changed since then?
So, of course, since the Laquan McDonald video happened, I became a Bernie Sanders surrogate, traveled around the country with him, speaking before all of his rallies, holding politicians' feet to the fire. I definitely was, one of the ones who said, let's go to the mayor's house.
That's right.
And,
you did that.
I did. Actually, you sent pizza, didn't you?
I was there with y'all.
I can believe that. You guys went to the mayor's house.
Oh, it's cold, too.
And everything I do is with an end goal. And I said, at that time, all police officers in the city of Chicago did not have tasers or body cameras. And I said, well, we need officers to have tasers. We need officers to have body cameras. It makes no sense that 1 out of 5 officers have tasers in the city and they got to call a sergeant to get a taser. And that's what we demanded in front of the mayor's house, in which he ended up giving us. So
that's a big win.
Yeah.
That's right.
This young man is solely responsible, that movement that he ignited to get tasers on every officer.
Yes.
Yeah. Big deal. That is huge. That's
very
huge.
important.
Listen, you got these T-shirts out here that got a lot of attention. Listen, you never gave me a Rahm You Failed Us T-shirt.
Rahm failed us shirt.
Are those shirts still available? What do you still believe he's failed us?
Of course, I believe he's failed us. That's why I'm running for mayor.
Okay.
Those shirts were very popular. Were featured in a lot of magazines, and sometimes did a big piece on it as well. And it was something that me and my friend Dante came up with. We sat down and I said, look, we need a powerful shirt right now that speaks to what is going on in the city, especially when we were going in front of his house, we were protesting. And we came with this idea. I said, Rahm failed us. And I want his face on the shirt. And we put his face on the shirt, and it became a great logo. So I'm going to make sure I get y'all one.
That was great.
We're going to be unleashing these back out. It's campaign season.
Sure. Oh,
so we
awesome.
Definitely need them to go back out to the city.
But he always understood the necessity of not just making noise or making a demand.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a list of demands.
That's right.
Here's what we want. Here's why we're out here.
All right.
Yes.
Not just screaming.
No.
Not just screaming.
You got to have a reason and an end goal.
Infants scream.
Yeah.
Grown folk
Absolutely.
make demands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a recent poll that came out today. Lori Lightfoot, her poll was released, and the revelation was that Rahm Emanuel is unelectable. That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
62% of Chicago wants a new mayor.
Yes.
But of course, he hasn't put that $20 million all the way
more
at
than
work.
that. He gonna put more than that.
How many? 20 million? But more than that.
He gonna put more than that.
And all those little blue warm sweaters that make black people feel good.
And when he puts this sweater on, we think we're looking at, well, Cosby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to keep that 62% right there, but right now he's unelectable. You want to speak to that?
So he is, and all coaches around the city of Chicago have their reasons on why they believe that we need a new mayor.
Sure.
I mean, this is not just a black issue. A lot of people thought, oh, well, the Laquan McDonald video is the only thing that people are mad at him about. Well,
There you go.
that's not true. You know, all communities, from the Hispanic community, from saying that he wants a sanctuary city, but he has not really put any resources toward it. And he used it
Absolutely.
as a victory moment. The urban community, of course, from shutting down 50 schools, mental health facilities, and Laquan McDonald video, but as well as the white community. You know, they have really been against the mayor, especially
Right.
with a lot of the things that decisions that he's made, and violence are creeping up downtown and on the north side
Yes.
too, and he's not doing much about it. So he's definitely unelectable. But what I want to say is that my challenger who put out this, you try to use this as a way to show that she would be the best candidate
Sure.
to face him. But she's been a part of the establishment for under Rahm as well as under Daley, and they got rid of her under Daley, and Rahm picked her back up, and they became great friends. And she decided to step down the same week that she announced that she was running for mayor, and she calls herself progressive. It's notable to say in that article, it says that she has 2 to 3%. All right. No one really knows who she is, and she plans to raise more money from Rahm's people to push the real progressive out of
One
the
thing I
race.
said about it, she's the only person that's around Rahm that stands up to him, though, these days.
Well, what I'll say is that we got to look at her track record as the head of the police board and councils under Daley, and we would see that they have not been successful. We would see some of the people that she represented as a lawyer as well, because she has some ties to the Republicans, and that will come out soon. So I don't think she would be the best candidate
Sure.
to go against Rahm, and especially when the people want somebody that's anti-establishment.
So you're talking about you're the reform candidate.
Yeah.
You can't be Pharaoh and Moses at the same time.
Exactly,
Whoa.
and you need someone who is outside of the machine
yes.
and the establishment. She has been a part of the establishment her whole career. And,
312-738-1060.
Yeah.
Jamal Green is in the studio. You have any comments or question, you can talk to him. He is the youngest candidate to run for mayor in the city of Chicago. We're proud of him. Let me just tell you this. Jamal is smart, he's eloquent, and I agree with you on pretty much all the issues. You are a great communicator, but you are 22 years old, and I'm wondering, where are you going to get your money from? Because it's going to take a lot of money to kind of deprogram these people who get hypnotized by those little warm blue fuzzy sweaters that the mayor puts on and just play these commercials all day and night.
And all that
all
money
day.
his brother Ari is raising him on the West Coast, $30 million through PACs.
Yes.
So how do you overcome the challenges you will have with finance? And I personally, I know I'll let you talk about it, but sometimes I think your youth is an advantage because you don't have all this baggage. But go ahead, I'll let you answer.
I really think being young is an advantage. I'm a person who have also been in the community. So when they say I'm young, they usually talk about experience. Well, I'm the only candidate that has the most experience. Where? In the community. Fighting for communities, fighting with families, with organizations, with progressive movements around this country. And that's what the people want. People don't want somebody who just talks a good talk or has a master's degree. They want somebody who's actually been there, understand their problems, and going to be passionate about changing those. Young people have always led every movement in this country, from the civil rights on to the founding fathers of this country were in their 20s, even though we can disagree with them on how they felt about us. But it's always been about young people, and that's why I'm running. Now, on a money tip, I have some big things that's going to be happening real soon. All right, and this is going to be a grassroots campaign, and I have some bigger financial backers who's going to be throwing in big time in the very near future, and so everybody will know about it. We're going to be a contender in this race. We're going to make the ballot. We're going to make sure our voice is heard, and we're going to have a seat at that debate table and debate all these other candidates on why we the best.
Well, it's a tremendous platform for you. You know, and this platform now, everybody can focus, you know, because we understand how people say, well, he's young, you know, the activism and everything. But what you're saying now is like, look, I'm coming outside the system to reform the system. You know, so like you said, the founding fathers, this country. You know, I think you're a brilliant guy.
Absolutely.
I think you're brilliant. You're articulate. You're also pretty funny when people get to know you. You know, but that's for another time.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to do really well. It's just you know you got to fight that machine.
One of the challenges we have too, Greg, and you know it is, we have to bridge the gap between the different generations, and certainly your generation has every right to be frustrated with the collaborative failure of so many generations that we have led. Families, churches, schools, businesses, certainly politicians. We have failed your generation. Nevertheless, if we're going to have some real reconstruction and recovery, we got to let bygones be bygones, and we got to connect these generations again. Do you think you can do that?
I definitely think I can. You know, and what I want to say on that last point is, tell me somebody that let me talk numbers. I'm a numbers guy. All right. So 2.7 million people here in the city. 1.6 million registered voters. Only 590,000 people vote in the city. Wow. So blacks and Hispanics, we either of our cultures, we don't vote at a majority rate as we should.
Yes.
So who is a candidate, if I'm not in a race, that can actually unify everyone to actually come out and vote, or unify those who usually don't vote and bring them out and mobilize them? It's not going to happen, which is why I'm in this race, because people want somebody who understands them, who knows them, who spent time, and that is actually understanding of the issues and working together with them to solve that. That's how we're going to unify and build that coalition.
That is my hope. That is my hope. But historically, young people don't vote. And so we are hoping that they would do more than just protest.
Definitely.
But they will come and pull that lever on election day. Caller, welcome to the show. Possibly the next mayor of our city, Jamal Green, on All Hands on Deck. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, Pastor. How are you?
Doing well.
Representative Ford, I'm calling because I see three great people on the show, and I really appreciate you giving the young guy a voice.
Representative Ford, for all of you watching online.
Amazing.
Yes, he's doing a good job.
So no matter what, I have to say that when we called for the mayor to be recalled, Jamal Green stood up tall.
Yes,
so did you, and so did Reverend Livingston. The three of you, we stood up. We just couldn't get the people to stand and say that we had to get Rahm recalled. We tried, and I want to thank Jamal for being there. Another thing, we all say that we want to support young people.
Sure.
Whether we support Jamal Green in this election or not, we have to encourage him to do his best.
That's right.
And we have to make sure that he has a successful campaign, and that he's not discouraged, and that he stays focused, because he's got something to offer to this campaign, to this race. He can only make it better, and he could win.
Absolutely. State Representative Sean Ford is on the line. And listen, you are, I remember when you were young. Now you done caught up with us. I want to tell you, we want to look for you to be with us Saturday, July the 14th. It's called Black Breakfast. Join us as we launch the intergenerational Black Breakfast at MacArthur's. Goal number 1, support a black-owned restaurant. That's simple as that. And then explore factual data and statistics. People tell us anything with all this fake news. We want to build an intergenerational community. That's pretty much it. You remember Reverend Willie Barrow said once, we're not so much as divided as we are disconnected.
Yes.
So we're looking for you to be there, State Rep. We got to bring these generations together. This might be the man, Jamal Green, who could do it.
We got a man
I'll
fighting
be
in
there.
Chicago
Thank
and a
you so
man
much.
fighting in Springfield, LaShawn Ford.
I'm a big supporter of both of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm a super supporter of Rep Ford, and
Yeah.
I definitely believe that he's going to be governor one day, and I want to be the
There you
first
go.
person to be there when he
Sure.
decides to do. But he's someone who has been great and working with, you know, those, of course, that were coming out of jail, reentry citizens. He's had so many different programs that I think is amazing, and that's why I stood with him on the Recall Ron bill and anything that he has done thus far. I think he's amazing. So, thank you.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Thank you. All right, Pastors and
All
Cam
right.
Jamal.
Thank you so much. Listen, State Representative LaShawn Ford calls in to give you his support. That's a great endorsement.
Yes,
He's
it is.
well loved on the West Side.
He's amazing.
Listen, I want to just say this. You're one of the guys like me. You believe churches ought to be doing something. And we at our church, we're trying to do something. And so if you
hope
know
so.
anybody, make sure that you have them who don't have a job tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right.
at 1256 North Waller Avenue. Your career starts here. Get computer classes, interview training, job training, access job openings. If you can come there tomorrow and get a job on the West
Get
Side.
a job on the West Side.
1256 North Waller. Please.
Come on out.
Come on out. You don't want to miss this opportunity. There's no smoke and mirrors. I'm just hosting it. It's not my entity. I'm not trying to take credit for it. I am hosting it. I'm giving them free rent. And I told them, if you don't find people a job, you can't stay here at Greater St. John Church. I'm not playing with the people.
So you paying rent?
They don't pay rent. They get
they don't.
free
Free
rent.
rent. Okay.
That's the incentive to get them there. You know how they pay rent? Get people in the community jobs.
Good.
That's how they pay
I
rent.
thought you was paying rent. I was going to ask you to pay. See
No,
how much,
they don't give the church anything for rent.
Right.
Yeah. But listen, one more thing.
Yeah.
This is a very crowded field, Greg.
Yes.
And it's loaded. And I was looking at the various candidates. You got Troy LaRaviere, you got Dr. Willie Wilson, Dorothy Brown, Paul Vallis, Gary McCarthy, Lori Lightfoot, and Bridget Gaynor is coming out, and there's another computer guy. Who would be your second choice if you wasn't running?
Or either your vice mayor.
Vice Mayor.
There you go.
Well, this is what I will say. What I will say is not a crowded field.
Okay.
I think this is the stigma they keep putting in our communities about us splitting the vote. But we don't vote. So what I want to say is this is democracy. All right, we want to welcome as many people in the race as possible.
Sure.
Now it's going to be about who can mobilize their base, who can raise some money, who can get on the ballot. Because everybody can announce they're being a candidate, but if you don't make the ballot, then you're not
Absolutely.
officially a candidate. So I welcome.
What is
as
too many?
people as
I mean, there is a
there's
limit. What's the? You saying
there's
you
no
have
too
20
many.
candidates?
You can because
Okay.
everybody's not gonna make the ballot. Everybody's not gonna raise as much money, and so as many candidates that say they want to run, it's fine. If you look at president, when it's time to run for
17
president.
candidates.
It's 17, 20 candidates on stage.
Yeah.
All right, that's what it's supposed to be. No one knows who's the best candidate unless they jump in.
I really
all right?
understand your point, but honestly, with 13 candidates, to me, I want to see you debate Rahm Emanuel. That's my point. You know the issues
Yeah.
better than some of the other people that's running. I mean, you're the most. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got some friends in the race, but this man knows the issues. He's a great communicator,
Right, because
if it's going to be like 20 people,
Right.
he's not going to really be able to make his case like I want.
Because-
Then he'd have to depend totally
Right.
on commercials to get his
Right.
message out there. That's my problem.
Because the strategy is to reduce the exposure of the incumbent.
Right.
So then if they have a bunch of people up there, then the incumbent doesn't have to say a whole lot, and then he doesn't get to say a whole lot. You know, but I think his skill and articulation will help him take that, whatever they give him, he'll turn a little into much.
Well, my daddy always told me the cream rises to the top.
Come on, Doc.
I mean, I know you saw the MSNBC town hall. All I needed was 2 minutes and 40 million views. It went.
Wow.
All right. So once we get our time, we're gonna definitely stand out.
We got a caller. Caller, welcome to the show. You're on All Hands on Deck with Ira Ackley and Greg Basile Livingston and Jamar Green.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Speak loudly if you can.
Hey, I was wondering if Mr. Livingston, Pastor Livingston, and this transgenerational coalition you guys are establishing, have you identified, Pastor, some young adults or adults that you would mentor personally in this process of intergenerational communication?
We have a few people that we are mentoring right now. We got, we don't want to call names right now because it's not about spotlighting anybody, but we have a few, well, I'll go ahead and say Melanie Brown is one. We're hoping, we brought them all to the table. Jedediah Brown was at the table.
Jedediah, yeah.
Ruthie Moore from WVON. We're inviting Jay Maul to come. It's all about building a coalition. You build a coalition by addition and not by subtraction. And if you have anybody that you want to bring them because it's all about networking.
I don't go nowhere uninvited, so I was just wondering if you guys were mentoring or selecting brothers that you, because if we don't turn around that 13 to 19% voters turnout in the black community.
You are invited. That's why we put it on television and said and gave out the address. You are invited. Anybody that's believe in changing the narrative that we're in and that's against the status quo, you will find yourself very comfortable at that meeting.
And as Reverend Ackery is saying, with that hashtag Black Breakfast, that hashtag Black Breakfast is about everybody coming together and do what organizations and organizers have done for thousands of years. We're going to break bread together. And we talk about mentoring too, Doc. One of the things we have to look at is called the peripatetic style, which means you got to follow somebody. You got to, like the Shaolin Temple, they wanted to get in the temple. They had to sit out there and show they wanted this. Sure. And you have to want this, and then you're brought in because what's being given is valuable. So nobody is being rejected. But just like with he and I, we started off with thousands, sure, and now it's just a few left. But that's the same way with Jesus. He talked to a whole bunch of folk, but it was just a couple left. Same thing with Gandhi. Same thing with King. Same thing with anyone that's out here trying to go against the odds. This young man here, this young brother, this superstar, Jamal Green. Same thing for him. Those younger than him, but they got to hang with him. They got to hang with him because he knows that if don't nobody help him, he still got to get it done.
Carl, I hope to see you at the meeting Saturday. We got to get ready to wrap up, but I always said if God ever gave me a platform,
yes, sir,
then I was going to try to help bring people up.
Sure.
And I want to make a reference to a young lady who's doing great work in the music industry, Miss Cherie Hicks. Miss Cherie Hicks is a soulful house music artist. She is someone you should know. She was incredible last week as she performed at the Chosen Few. This weekend, she was originally from Memphis, but she was raised on the West Side, and there are many versions of house music today, like Afro house music, jacking house, EDM, traditional house, commercial house, but soulful house is on the rise and finding its way to mainstream listeners. It's recognized all over the world. Soul house is about the vocalists who deliver positive messages. You're not calling people B's and H's and all of that and talking about shooting up people. It's positive messages that everyday persons can listen to and identify with. And the Sound of Music contains a lot of live instruments. She's awesome. She's doing a great job. Globally, she's getting some recognition because she's spearheaded an evolution of something called soulful house music. Last week she was on Windy City Live. They had her on, and she performed on prime time on Channel 7 in Chicago to let everyday people hear what it sounds like, and the audience loved it. The Chosen Few gave out tickets, and many people showed up that were in the audience on that day. So watch out for Cherie Hicks. And I'm honored to know her personally.
Because she's in the house.
She's in the house. She sings
right.
good. She's a writer.
Yeah.
She don't look too bad either. Amen.
I'm like, amen.
Amen.
Amen goes with the truth. And you're single. All right. All right. But listen, it's been a joy. It's been wonderful. Any parting comments, Greg?
I'm just so happy we got this awesome, this freedom fighter here who understands the system, the things that need to be done, his maturity and all these things. I've known him for a number of years now. I've watched him grow. And I'm so proud of you, man. I'm serious. I mean, you got it.
Appreciate it.
Without a doubt.
I really appreciate
I don't know if I'm going to stand in the cold with you no more, but it was cold, man.
We did do it.
It was cold. But he has stayed in the battle. He didn't drop out. He said, what happened to J-Maul?
We need some long distance runners.
That's right. You know, it's a marathon, but what we've learned, you got to sprint the marathon.
Yeah.
You know, you got to sprint it. It's a long distance race, and you got to run that fast too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, do you have any protests coming anytime soon?
I mean, I'm running for mayor now, but of course I have a lot of organizations around the city that still make sure that they're pushing against the status quo and pressuring them to do things, and I'll always continue supporting them. I'll never walk away from being an activist. I'll continue supporting, just as I did with Father Pfleger's March and anyone else who decides to raise awareness to the issues. But I'm running for mayor, and you know, I'm pledging to do 3 things, and people can go to our website at greenforchicago.com to look at my platform in depth. But we're pledging to create inclusive communities in government corruption and reimagine Chicago's future. And so we're coming up. We have a only platform thus far from any campaign that has been out to come up with solutions on how to solve all these things.
And I read your website. It's just off the chain. It really is. And if people want to know the issues, it's right there. It's Green for Chicago. F-O-R.
F-O-R.
Green, F-O-R, greenforchicago.com.
Yes.
This was incredible. You've given us a great show. You gave us so much information, and we think it's going to be a great run for you. I'm just wondering, you didn't tell us who was the second best choice.
You back on that question now?
Okay.
Look, and say wrap up.
Yeah.
I don't have a second best choice. What I will say
Who would you like
is
to meet in the runoff?
Who would I like to meet in the runoff?
That's a fair question.
I would like to meet Rahm Emanuel in the runoff. This is a me and him race here.
Okay.
It's not about anyone else to me. And, I want to make sure I hold him accountable and embarrass him for all the things that he's done in our city.
Woo.
So me and him in a runoff, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Listen, man, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, we have you back. All right, you've been watching All Hands on Deck. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.